Hey guys, welcome back to 4 Downs with Coach Preston. We're on episode 9 today. We are going to do our norm. We're going to talk about some sort of hot topic that Coach Mike's got for us.
Yes, I do. I have a good hot topic for us.
All right, we've got questions. I've got a play we're going to go over, a skill we're going to go over, and then a play we're going to go over as well to hit the deep ball if you want a quick six.
A quick six sounds great.
Yeah, in any offensive mind, a quick six is exactly what you want. How do we get a lot of quick 6 points on the board? I got a great play we're going to go over today. So what do we got for our topic today?
Well, before that, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're viewing or listening to this podcast, especially because we're providing great content for any flag football player, coach, parent, getting information for your kiddos. Let's do it. So make sure you like and subscribe. First one. Second thing, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, buddy. Second thing, the main topic for today is how was the playoffs for Winter Park League? Because that just ended, right? How'd that go? How'd that go?
Fantastic. As always.
It was great. It was great.
Playoff weeks parents get coaches, players, they get amped up. It's playoffs, it's atmosphere, it's competitive. It's good.
Right.
It's good. I mean, we had an incident this weekend, but I think overall it went well. What we tell our referees ahead of the game is to manage this well, because coaches typically, even parents, right, they get very competitive, right? And so the referees have a tough job already,
right? And
they're all over them, right? It's always kind of the referee's fault and things like that.
Yeah, it can get pretty intense, right?
Yeah, and I get it. It's like anything. I mean, we play baseball same way, right? Baseball playoffs in the league we play in, like the referees, like, come on, balls and strikes, and parents are yelling and or at least hassling them. Coaches are upset about that. I think the biggest takeaway is consistently is like the coaches, like they expect everything to go perfectly,
right?
As far as calls, missed, made,
right,
subjective things, and like that's just not how any sport goes, and it never goes like that in the regular season. So now we're in the playoffs, but like they get even more frustrated, or they want better calls. And it happens. Like there's going to be bad calls, missed calls.
Right.
A lot of it's subjective, but I think it's important for coaches to like settle down and just like focus on the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's their job, right? As a coach, you're supposed to be the leader of that team, right? I mean, obviously, you're going to have a main player that usually will develop into that leadership role. The player that's like, hey, it's okay, you get the next down whenever you drop something or something. Don't worry about it, relax. Players will always look for that kid, whoever that kid is. And normally it's the most athletic kid, the kid that does the most on the team. And then I've noticed that if you see that kid, if he's going sideways, if he gets upset and he's got his shoulders shrugged or he's not doing what he normally does, then the rest of the team implodes.
Yeah.
So, but kind of getting back to the coach's perspective and stuff, like, look, we had a playoff game, and it was a tight game. It was very close. We were playing bad. We were, everybody, their nerves were high, right? So we had some bad throws, some throws that kind of went low, some throws that kind of went high. We had some missed catches, some poor routes, some direction when we told kids to do specific things. They weren't doing the right things. And all of those things kind of led up to us losing. And it was still a close game, even with all those mistakes. The ref, he's a great ref. He's there all the time. His count was a little bit faster than what we have seen throughout the season, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, what do you do as a coach? Do you freak out and yell at the ref? Like, no, man. What you got to do is, hey, look, if it's fast on our side, it's going to be fast on their side. Mm-hmm. So what do? We got to adjust, right? Hey, maybe the deep ball's out, right? Like, if you can't get it out within 3 seconds or a fast 3 seconds, then you got to adjust your plays. You got to start making better decisions, but you can't lose it on the ref.
Yeah, so that's what is frustrating for me, is that coaches will leave the game and say, "Oh, the ref's count was fast and we lost the game." Or the coach can leave the game and say, "Man, like we threw 2 interceptions, we had 3 drop balls, we gave up 2 deep balls. Like if we just change 1 or 2 of those, we win this game."
Right.
It's like I think the coaches get so focused on winning that they forget that like you and your players' control of the game is what's most important. But like all of a sudden the referee lost the game. Right. We lost the game 2 years ago on the last play, and we literally the last play of the game, we throw a ball we're on the 5-yard line going in to score to win, and we throw it in the edge, and our player catches it in the end zone. with this much room to spare on the sideline, right?
Right.
The referee was on the backside. He had players obstructed his view. He couldn't see it.
Right.
So he called it out, assuming that's what he saw. It was not a good call. It wasn't what he was trying to do. He just didn't see it well.
Right.
And I'm talking to my kids after the game, and they're like, "Oh, he was in." I said, we're done. Come here." And I'm explaining to them, "Hey, like, we can't change that call now. It's over with. We can blame it on the ref, or we can talk about the 2 interceptions we threw earlier and the other opportunities that we missed. And like, we could have still won that game, right? So let's not make it about the ref." And I think the coaches have trouble taking on the ownership of like, "Hey, we just got to keep rolling with the punches, and it happens. And there's things I can do better." Instead, they're pointing the finger.
Right.
And now we're teaching the kids to point the finger.
Right.
And all too often I'll walk by a field and I'll see 3 kids saying, "He's flag guarding, yelling at the ref. And then the coach is saying, "He's flag guarding," and they're all yelling at the ref. And I'm like, whoa, the kid's job is not to do that.
Right.
Right? Like, snap your kids. Hey, guys, focus on the game. Like, let's not yell at the ref. Let's not talk to the ref. So our biggest improvement in youth sports in general, this is not our league, this is all over, is like our coaches managing and just knowing like kids are watching them and they're learning from you.
Right.
And being a complainer is not good for those kids' future.
Right.
Right. And just being a grinder and just working through it and saying, tough luck, we got to control is like how you need to handle that.
Yeah. I mean, holding yourself accountable, holding the players accountable is more important than thinking that the ref had the Dolphins and the under on the game, and that's why you got that play, called the way they did. Like, no, the ref's just doing the best that he can, and he's human. He's not perfect, right? So, and if you see something like that, if you see flag guards going on, then you could always bring it up to the ref's attention, like, "Hey, just so you know, can you keep an eye out on this, right? It looks like this player's doing, swiping their hands a lot and kind of blocking the flag. Can you just be on the lookout for it? Bring it to their attention."
Yeah.
I mean, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant, man.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things going on. And, maybe, as a coach, we'll review after the game. Like, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
Did you see I'm like, no, I wasn't even looking in that direction. I was looking over here at something else, So I missed that, right? So, like, you got to give the refs a little bit of grace. Now, sometimes you have a bad ref. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, but I could tell you that a lot of the refs that are regulars in the Winter Park League, at this point, I've seen them so much. I know a lot of them by their first name, right? Yeah. And they all have kind of different styles. They're all a little bit different. Yeah. So once you understand what the tempo is of the game and how it's going to be played, then you make your adjustments and you figure that out.
And how you talk to them, right? Coaches come off yelling right away at a ref. Like, that is not going to help you.
No.
Like you said, "Hey, ref, can you watch the flag guard?" And it looks like he's flag guarding.
Right.
Like, can we watch that? Not that he's not watching a million things already, but you put in his mind so that he will keep in mind. If he sees something close again, maybe he calls it because he realizes it's there.
Right.
But these coaches get amped up and like, "Ref, what are you doing, man? You're making a bad call." You're like demeaning. Right. And they're not going to do well with that, especially when they're there for 5 or 6 hours. So as a coach, we need to learn, like, how do we talk to these referees? How to be respectful, and it'll work out in our favor. And then coaches get mad, like, "He's not calling anything. He's not seeing anything." I'm like, "Dude, you've been yelling at him for 30 minutes, man."
Right.
I don't want to either.
How about you talk to him like he's a human being?
Yeah, exactly.
A couple seasons ago, we were in the playoffs, and the count was a little long, which again, same scenario. If it's a little long or it's a little short, this is how the ref's counting. And I'm going to...
Both teams are playing that way.
It's the same count on both sides, right?
So it's fair.
Right. So it's not like he's going 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, whistle, and then the other one's like 1. No, that's not happening. This guy doesn't... He's not like, "Oh, well, I know Timmy on this team, so I'm going to make sure that this works out." Like, no, he's just reffing the game, right? So it was a little bit long, which I appreciate at 7 and 8 because 3 is fast, right? So it's like, hey, okay, cool, we can space out a little bit more. We can challenge a little bit more deep balls, whatever. Well, the other coach starts losing his mind. "Your count's too slow," and he's yelling at the ref. "Your count's too slow. Your count's too slow. Speed up your count. Speed up your count." Okay, so then the ref speeds up the count. No problem. All right, the count's going to be a little bit faster now. So hey, he goes 1, and we're playing. We're on an offense, and we're about to throw the ball. Nobody's open. Quarterback makes a bad decision. 1, 2. Whistle dead. He throws the ball to pick. He says sack. And that same coach loses his mind.
You spread the count up.
He's like, "What? It's not a sack. It's not a sack." I'm like,
the count was too fast.
Like, wait, yeah. He's like, so the ref's like, "Dude, what do you want me to do? I'm too slow or I'm too fast. Like where do you want? What?
Yeah.
You know, like at some point, the coach has to realize like you are not helping the situation, and not only are you not helping the situation, but you just made it worse for your own team.
Yeah.
Because if it was the regular count, it would have been a
It would have
pick.
worked out. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and things would have gone in your way, and then I would have looked at the quarterback and said, "Dude, you that was a terrible throw. You can't." I mean, he still got that conversation. Like, dude, that was a horrible look. You know, you're lucky the sack count saved you.
But you're lucky that coach was complaining.
Yeah, you're lucky that coach lost his mind and wound up helping you, right?
And some coaches just complain when it's not going well. They just got to complain. They're just not like, oh, things aren't going well. We're playing bad. It's like, who can I point the finger at?
Right.
And that's kind of like in life too. But these kids got to learn. Our kids, we coach our kids like they don't talk to the ref. They don't complain about anything.
Right.
We're moving on. And then when they used to, they complain. I say, all right, but Jack, you dropped the football the last drive. Right. Like that didn't help us either. Like you make mistakes.
Right.
I'm making mistakes. Referees making mistakes. Let's just play the game and finish it out. And it happens, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is the idea is right. Like referees are certainly making mistakes, and that's a problem for coaches.
Right.
But I'll see coaches in some play calls, and I'm like, why did you call that play right there?
Right.
You know what I mean? But like coaches aren't holding themselves accountable. I think the game is like it's going to be ebbs and flows, and everyone's going to make mistakes, and it's just going to be what it is, right? But like, let's not complain and drag it out and make it about that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, more often than not, I think coaches they kind of freeze too, which I see more often, like a lot. They set up a play, and you know, if I'm looking at this play and I'm like, ooh, this is bad. Like that coach probably knows that that defense this isn't going to work against this D, and they don't change it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so now you're walking into a buzzsaw, right?
Yeah.
Like that is a huge mistake, and you know. If a game goes sideways for me, I mean, you know, I have a bunch of teams. You know, some kids are more athletic than others on these teams, and you know that's okay, right? I prefer that because I want to help kids get better no matter where they're at. But if Timmy dropped the ball, you know, that isn't the first thing that I think about. Like, okay, we need to work on that so you start catching more. But then I always go back and I look at the plays that I made. I'm like, okay, did I put them in the best scenario with this play, right? And then how do I fix that? What could I have done differently to make it? What was the right play? You know, even with the defensive setup that it may have looked right. Like, well, maybe there was something that was easier for my particular players that were out there at that time, right? So that's the stuff that I lose sleep over on Fridays.
Yeah,
right.
Agreed. You're looking at the opportunities that you missed, and that's the last point I'll make on this is. Coaches that don't take ownership, right, and they're blaming the refs. I see it in the huddle after the game and telling the kids, you lost because we dropped too many balls and all that. So like, I don't mind telling the kids after the game, hey, you need to improve here.
Right.
Hey, you didn't play with great energy.
Right.
Hey, you weren't aware of the play when it was being called. And then also I'll be like, but look, there's some calls I've made that I wish I would have made differently.
Right.
So there's ownership of understanding like we all collectively did that.
Right.
But some of the same coaches that are always blaming the refs, I hear them in the huddle after and telling the kids like, guys, you lost the game. Instead of like, whoa.
Oh, we lost the game.
We all made mistakes.
Right.
And that's in every single game, man. It doesn't even matter if you win. Everyone's made mistakes.
Right.
You know?
I like to, at the end of the game, I've been going up to our players and say, okay, you know, raise your hand, tell me what it is that you think you need to work on individually.
Yeah, that's great.
In order to get better.
Yeah.
To help the team. Right. And, you know, like you're looking for a couple that I'm especially that I'm trying to get to hold themselves accountable to fix. It's like the same. It's like if you have a kid that's notorious for flag guarding, right? And you address it at practice, like, dude, you know, you can't just shove the kid away from you. Like that is a blatant flag guard, right? And you know, you try and work it through at practice, and then they do it in the game, and they get the penalty. You're like, I'm trying to get that kid at the end to say, I need to fix that. Like, awesome. The minute that you say that, it's like great because now I get to help you fix that.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're aware of it and they're being accountable to know that
Right.
like I made mistakes. I got to get better instead of
Right.
I don't know, coach. We lost because the referee made that bad call. I didn't do anything wrong, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Anyway, playoffs went good overall,
Yeah.
right? We always have hiccups but in this case there was a lot of coaches, not a lot. It was just coaches get on the referees. I'm like, man, if we just settle down a little bit on that.
Yeah. And I think that that's more common, especially there's more intensity in the older grades. In 7th and 8th grade, I've seen it because like, I have some 3-4 teams, third grade, fourth grade. I have some 5-6 teams, and then I will tell you that the 7th to 8th grade is probably the most intense. You have kids. Some kids are a foot taller than other kids. Some kids are way more physical than other kids, and all of that can be a mixture for just more intensity. And if you're a coach and you're adding to that intensity, it's the wrong approach. You got to be the leader and say, hey man, let's just all just take a breath here. If one of your players is too aggressive, you got to address that with them. Like, hey man, I want you to be physical, but I don't want you to go up and intentionally knock a kid down that's trying to get the ball. Like, that's not okay. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, perfect. Moving on to our questions of the day. Question number 1. This is a good one. This comes from Coach Mike. He's a good guy.
Big Coach Mike?
Yeah, I've seen him on the field all the time. He tries to keep his composure. Sometimes he loses it, but he's never yelling at other coaches or refs. I could tell you, I've seen that. Maybe the occasional player, but it's only if it's trying to help the player. So, how do you help a quarterback to not throw an interception in the end zone? This particular coach, I know that he follows some of your plays, and one of the in particular is that wrap back that you do. The quarterback, however, will look at the first, like that curl in the front of the end zone, and even if it's covered or not, he has a tendency to kind of throw that. So how do you walk a quarterback through, hey, listen, if this isn't here, you got to look here, or how do you convince him that, hey, that comeback on that route, on that play, that's the primary, and we gotta figure out how you get the ball there.
Yeah. Well, I think we teach them consistently on these goal line plays that there's a primary and only a primary, right? Like that's first and starter. So a lot of times on an extra point, or if that's an extra point, it's okay if the ball's intercepted, because it is what it is. They can't run it back on one point, and we're trying to squeeze it in there, right? Now you don't want an interception on first and goal.
Right.
But I tell the kid to go after the primary, roll out, find him. He needs to run a good route. We need to throw him the ball. And if he's not throwing the ball to that player, we need to figure out why, right?
Right.
Now, is that player open? Is that player not open? Why isn't the player open? Did he run a good route, right? Sometimes the player doesn't run a good route. Well, he's getting there, but the player didn't run the right route. So we want to coach the quarterback to come off the read, but we also need to say we shouldn't have to come off this read. Like, let's teach the receiver to run the route the right way so that it is open, because it's open a lot of the time.
Right.
Right. Second thing is, and I follow this sometimes, I forget to remind my quarterback it's first and goal from the 5. Right. And I'll say, hey, we're squeezing this in there. Look at me. We are not throwing an interception here. Right. We'll take the sack if we have to, because we have 3 more downs to get this in. So on down and distance, it's important that we remind our quarterback the situation so that we're not throwing a first or second down interception, because with 3 or 4 plays, likely we're going to find somebody open at some point. Does that make sense?
Right, of course.
4th down, guy, run over there, squeeze it in, figure it out. If they intercept the ball, it's 4th down. It doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
But I find myself forgetting to do that sometimes on first or second, and he'll try to squeeze something in, and I should have said, hey, we don't need a tight window throw right now because it's early in the down, right?
I think that sometimes too, when I'm in the huddle or when I'm talking, especially when I'm talking to quarterback, I feel like sometimes I might be talking too fast, right? I'm like, okay, hey, look, and I got some footage that we can use for a couple of these episodes. Like, I know you start to identify quickly on defense who the speedsters are when they come in. It's like, okay, the blitz is coming, right? Or they're at least giving you the look that the blitz is coming. So I could quickly say, hey, look, watch the blitz, and you can't run. Right, and the quarterback could be like, "What? I don't know." And if my demeanor is high and I'm talking fast, I think that's where sometimes things kind of go sideways too. Where if I just slowed it down and said, "Hey, look, see him," right? Especially in the younger grades, 1, 2, or 3, 4. Oh, this kid was Miles, and I used to coach him. I'm like, Miles is fast. Miles is usually over here. However, right now during this play, Miles is right here. Miles is probably coming to blitz, right? So, like, if he comes to blitz, look for your center, because your center's open, because there's nobody else by him, and you cannot run. You're in the no run zone, right? So But I think that sometimes, you're like, oh, the clock's going, 25 seconds, and I set the play, and oh, there's only 10 seconds left, and and you can get that kid kind of up, and you really need them to settle in. Like, hey, just relax. If you're not relaxed, they're not going to be relaxed.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's also the other issue too. Is like, all right, hey, look, we got to watch that comeback. You do not throw it as soon as he hits back there. Right, he's got to come back. That's what's called a comeback, and then you can throw that window throw instead of this Hail Mary kind of over the top ball.
Yeah.
So,
well, in the rat back play, like I said, if it's ran well and he rolls out and he cuts the space down on the throw, even when it's a tight window throw, it's you can hit it because you've always got the leverage. The DB is usually behind you.
Right.
But you're right. It's a lot of times reminding the quarterback, especially if you're on the field coach. Now, a lot of times we're off the field for certain age groups, but if we're on the field, hey, roll out. Look for the rat back. If for some reason it's not open, then just look to the back of the end zone for whoever it may be, right? Coming around to the back and try to throw that. But it's first down. Right. Don't overdo it. Don't throw an interception, right? Or whatever. Or, hey, it's fourth down. You got to get rid of the ball. Do not take a sack here. If it's an interception, it doesn't matter. Make sure you throw it no matter what.
Right.
So just continue to remind them to do that.
Okay.
You should have no more interceptions in the end zone ever again, right?
Yeah, this is it. That was my last one.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I had one that was crazy where he threw the ball, it bobbled off the kid's hands, then it bobbled off the defender's hands, and he caught it between his legs. I'm like, what are you gonna? There's nothing you can do about that. Like, that's just a miracle right there. You know,
games are going like that. It's rough.
Oh man, it was a little rough, man. But I'm very proud of these kids. They played hard. They've learned a lot this season. So, question 2: as a coach, how do you address a player who wants to change positions? This is really good because on defense, there are players that want to play cornerback. Like, they've asked me about that as well. Hey, I want to, I think I can do this, right? And but more often than not, you see on the offensive side, it's like, hey, I want to be quarterback, or hey, a center wants to be a wide receiver. I don't want to be the slot anymore. I want to be the deep ball. I want to get to be the big play guy. Like, how do you address that to a player?
Yeah. I mean, that one can be a tough one because it depends on your age, right? If you're in the 6th or 7th grade and a kid wants to play quarterback, right? They haven't done any of it. It's going to be hard to develop them into quarterback because you need so many reps, right? So I guess in that case, right, we would try to get them some reps of practice and let them warm up with the kids, but also like let them know, like, look, this is something you got to throw the ball on your own a lot, right, to get better, and we'll try to get you in the game if we can, right? At that age, younger age groups. Probably easier because kids aren't. A lot of times you might not be sure you're a quarterback in the 1st or 2nd grade anyway. But you can you're getting the kid reps in practice, give them a chance to get better. Maybe at a younger age I would tell the parents, right? I was like, hey, Timmy came up and said he wants to play quarterback. I don't know if he's expressed interest in you in that. We've had John's been playing there a lot for us lately, and he understands everything. But we're going to get him some work at practice and talk to him about what he can get better at, and then let you know as well, right? So the parents understand, like, great. We can help them at home if we want to, or no, just like whatever, just play them if you can. Right. So I think it's important that as coaches, we remember that we are coaches though. So we don't dismiss it, right, to the kid. I think that would feel really bad for them because they're coming to you for a reason. Right. It would just be walking them through, hey, great. Like, I don't know how much game time you're going to get because we have a lot to learn, but at practice, we'll work with you on stuff and I'll talk to you about things you can get better at. Right. Right. And then that communication with the coach is probably most important.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I would take a kid that is less athletic with more potential, more work ethic, and is willing to listen over just an absolute athletic kid. And if that kid wants that position, they're going to have to do things, right? I was like, okay, I could give you a ton of examples, right? Like I had a kid that's like, hey, I want to be the deep ball. I was like, okay, like, you got to catch the ball. Right. So what are you doing at home to catch the ball? Are you trying to get 50 catches a day? Because it just takes 7 minutes. Are you doing it every day? Right. And it's like, well, no. Okay. Well, like, you can't just come in and say, hey, I want this. You got to go work for it. Right. I have a kid that for a couple seasons, he's worked really hard. He's a little smaller in size when it comes to the other players, but he wants to be quarterback, and he was working really hard at it. And, he was making mistakes and he wouldn't throw the ball and stuff, but I kept working with him because he would listen and we'd try and develop. Well, the next season comes in and, he missed the first 2 practices. He comes into the 3rd practice and he goes, okay, well, I'm going to throw the ball. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but like, we've already started and we're at practice 3 at this point. Like we can do some practice reps at quarterback, but chances are maybe if something, but I can't guarantee that you're going to be quarterback right now. You're not going to be quarterback this season. So, well, I was on vacation or I had to do these things or whatever. I'm like, okay, like I get it. Like I'm not yes, go do those things, but like I can't stop the whole team for you because you have to do these, you had other responsibilities, whatever that was, like how is that fair to the other kids that showed up and are working on all of these things, right? So,
well, and that's just, it's the truth, and this is probably an older group, but like it's a lesson. You're not teaching them a lesson, but like the reality is it's not fair to the other kids. They've been here for 3 weeks, right? If you're sick for 3 weeks or you broke your arm and you're coming back, like I get it, but are you around, right? Like my son hurt himself or he sprained his ankle and he can't practice for a day.
Right.
I'm usually, all right, well, you need to be out there with your team though, right? Because you're still there, you're still showing them that you're there,
right?
And being a part of that.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and some kids want to play wide receiver, right? It's like, all right, great. Like we can get you reps at wide receiver. If you're catching the ball well, I don't know if you're going to get it much.
Right.
But all we do as coaches is we want to give kids chances, but that means chances meaning we're helping them along at practice because that's a chance to get better.
Right.
Does not mean you have to put the kid in the game at that position, right? And just throw them in there because it's very difficult to do.
Right.
It's probably, we talked about before, putting kids in the right spots. All right, sure, you want to play quarterback? Oh gosh, I don't think it's going to work out, but I'll throw you in there. And then all of a sudden it's a disaster for him, right? And he hates it. Like that wasn't good. Like let's bring him along at practice and build his confidence up and then get him opportunities if you can. In the game.
You destroy a kid's self-esteem at that level. When you're really trying to teach them, hey, you got to work hard, right? So I totally get that.
But I would always communicate with the parents and say, hey, such and such came out and said he wants to play quarterback and see what they know or don't know. But I think it's important to tell them that because you're going to share with them, well, great, like this other kid's been playing for 3 years there, right? So we're going to bring him along at practice, and I will tell you things he can do to get better at home and give the parents a chance to do that so that 6 weeks later, they're not like, hey, my son hasn't played any quarterback in the game. I'll say, well, we talked about at the beginning of the season that he may not, but my goal is to make him better, and we have given him opportunities at practice, and he's getting better, and that should be the goal.
Right.
I think that's how you eliminate maybe parent objections to that later on. So
yeah. I mean, the wild part is that if your team's winning a lot, I think that you're like the parent won't speak up and say, well, you should be playing quarterback. But if things are going sideways, that's usually when you get, hey, I think here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that this should happen. Like, I think that you should fill out the form and coach as well. I mean, if you want to get involved, like, awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, I think that there's a way to kind of handle that. But it's funny to me that, if you're 6-0, like there's no complaints. It's like, hey, whatever, it is what it is, when in all reality, that's not why we're here, right?
Right.
If you're 3-3 or 1-5 or whatever the case may be, like you're doing everything you can to develop all these kids, so like just if the coach is, if you see that the coach is trying to do the right thing and develop kids, you got to give them a little bit of grace as a parent, right? So.
Yeah, and one more thing, and I'm thinking about this because it's happened, but like the mom that's like, well, my son wants to play quarterback, can you get him in the game? Get him in the game at quarterback. And we're like, he's not quite ready for that, right? Like what we do at practice is very elementary compared to the speed of the game. Like it's not just your son that is affected, but if we put your son in quarterback and he throws 3 bad passes really quick and goes 3 and out, right? And now we're on defense and we put him in for more series, does it again, your first half's over. Right. You run 6 offensive plays because you put him in and he wasn't able to move the ball.
Right.
All those other kids are affected because if we had our normal quarterback in there, we might have 12 or 15 offensive plays and everyone got a chance to get involved.
Right.
Right. So as coaches, we have to be aware of that too. You shouldn't feel pressured to just stick someone in there if it's not the right time. Again, that's what practices are for. We're developing kids. We're going to give them a chance at practice to do it, but it doesn't mean that they're going to play that position in the game.
Right.
Especially the quarterback, because that's the most important position in regards to making sure everyone is involved in the game and we're getting a lot of plays in,
100%. All right. Question number 3. This is a good one. This is like a philosophical reflecting kind of a question. What's one thing youth football coaches do that drives you crazy?
Man, I said it earlier, and I think it doesn't change. It's the referees, like completely badgering the referees.
Right.
Drives me nuts. And it's for the referees too, because I run a league, and obviously I know what the referees go through.
Right.
But it's like the kids see that.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the world for kids to see is you complaining all the time and not taking ownership of controlling what we can control.
Right.
So if youth football coaches, that's the biggest pet peeve I have is watching them do that.
Right. Do you think maybe we can make like the aggressive coaches wear like special necklaces or something, like bright orange, like
Yeah.
so the refs know.
We do that.
Yeah,
We could put a tutu on them and see if that settles them down a little bit. Maybe,
hey,
I don't know.
Hey, we need you to wear this on the sidelines. That way we can easily identify that you're unstable.
This coach, referees come out and they're looking for, that coach has got the badge on. He's going to be all over me today about missing call, whatever simple calls there are. I don't know.
Hey, coach, I want you to know I'm going to do my best to make the right calls the whole time, and I'm going to apologize in advance if I miss anything.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. That's it. I mean, and overall, coaches do a great job, and we also coaches like dedicate a lot of time and effort and commitment. Like, there's no doubt. So I'm very grateful for that. But I also know that like they still have to conduct themselves a certain way, and it doesn't mean you're not gonna get out of order. Sometimes it happens, but consistently we have the same coaches over and over again. And I just wish they would just like stop with the referees, just like let it go.
I was watching the game and I heard one of the parents go, "Oh God, it's this guy again," and they were talking about the coach on the other team.
Oh my God!
And I couldn't help but laugh, man. I'm just like, oh man, like whatever, it's all good, It's kind of comical to me, but like these kids are watching, and we gotta be. And as coaches, we're not going to be perfect. You're going to lose it every once in a while. I get it. But you got to bring it back. You got to bring it back fast, right?
Well, so I said this jokingly one time, and sorry if I moved and I'm out of camera there. If a coach is going to like berate a referee after every single play, which I see sometimes, like it's insane. And I'm like, what they're even talking about is like, that's not even a penalty. Like, just let it go. You're not losing the game. The kid just dropped the ball.
Right.
Or you just threw what if like, and that didn't have to be me, but another coach stood behind the coach and every single play said, "Coach, why'd you call that play?
Right.
Coach, that was a dumb play. What are you doing? Throw that play." And just berated you the entire game. Like you'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing the best I can," right?
Right. Like, hey man, relax.
Yeah.
What's wrong
like
with this guy?
What do you mean? Like, I can do better. Well, yeah, you can do better. But you're trying. Like you're trying. They're trying. It's gonna be mistakes gonna be made.
Right. It's gonna happen.
That's it, man.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So, do you have a skill or drill for us today?
Yeah, we're gonna go skill.
All right.
Let's put this on the screen. It's going to be a catching drill, if you will, right? So there's just so many of them, but these are all crucial, and they're great ones to mix up because you want to keep kids engaged at practice, and a lot of times give them different things to do. Right, it's fun for them to do. But this specific one on the end of a football, right? I'll write on one end. I'll write 2, 2, 2, 2 in the corner, and then on the other side I'll write 1s. And there's kind of 4 corners in a football, if you will. Probably not corners, but the right thing, but around the seams there. And you're teaching the kid to watch the ball all the way in. So when we play this right here, you can hear him calling the number out.
Good job.
As he's catching the ball.
Okay.
And so what we're teaching the kid do is watch the ball all the way in, because a lot of times kids drop the football, believe it or not, and even especially kids with good hands already, is because they're not watching the ball all the way in right here, right? They're taking their eyes off field and things like that. So we tell our kids to read the number as they catch it. So we can just do a drill for 5 minutes, and we're just having them play catch. I actually had the kids play catch with each other, and I just walk up and down the line and watch them, and I'm listening for the kid to say 1 or 2, so he's watching that ball in, and you're just consistently building a habit of him watching it in.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. You know what? I can think of 3 players already that if they did this, their game would shoot through the roof. They would be so much better on the field, because a lot of them will just kind of catch, and as the ball's coming, they'll turn their head, they'll drop the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Or they don't do this. They don't watch it come in. They kind of do this and kind of panic or do like a clap. So, getting that repetition in over maybe 2 or 3 times, like once a week, 2 or 3 times total.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the play, like there's a handful of players that they're like, once they grab that concept of there it is and then bring it in, man, they would be lights out.
One of our best players on our team, and just a great athlete, really has good hands, had something going on last year where for a couple games he was turning his head a lot, right? And he was dropping balls, and we figured that out. So like before every game and every practice, specifically with him, I'd say, hey, I'm gonna throw you 15 balls right now. You're gonna watch it in, right? And we would do that over and over again. And just like doing that before the game, just locked him in. And like simple, but he was catching everything. He wasn't turning up field too early. So it's a great drill to do for kids. And like I said, they can do it together at practice and throw the ball to each other. But I'll say this, like I said all the time, as a coach, right? We can stand over there with other coaches and we can chat and let them do it and trust they're doing it right.
Right.
Or we can walk up and down and watch them and say, hey, guys, we're not calling the number out, or throw the ball a little bit harder and like make sure that they're pressing each other on the drill so that they're getting better with it.
Right.
The numbers is typically an easy way to learn to do it. At some point, we don't do numbers anymore. I just watch our kids, and when they're warming up or catching balls on the field, I make sure they watch that ball for 2 seconds, right? So they're trained to catch it, warming up, catch the ball, 1,000, 2,000, tuck it, and then run up the field.
Right.
Right. And we're out of the number game now. They're just so used to doing it, but it's a great drill to start doing for kids. So.
Yeah, it's incredible, man.
Add it in. 5 minutes of practice, man. Help your kids out.
What's funny is I believe I've seen some of these balls on the field that I'm like, well, why does that say 2?
Yeah, why does it got 2s on there?
There's
numbers?
2s all around that side. Like,
yeah. And they sell balls that have colors on the edge, right? Like have orange on one side, blue on one side. It's all the same thing. The idea is they're calling something out so that they're watching that ball all the way in the hands.
Okay, cool. Now, does it say 2 all the way across, or it says 1, 2, 3, 4? Or?
Yeah. So there's seams around the football, right? 4 seams, and then each is a little triangle, if you will, right?
Right.
We'll write the number, 2 in each of those.
Okay.
Right. So at whatever level he's catching the ball, he's seeing some sort of 2 on there, or a 1, or whatever number you want to use.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Pi sign?
Yeah.
It's pi.
Yeah.
Pi. Okay, cool. All right, and now you have a play for us today?
We're going play right now.
All right, let's jump to the board.
All right, so we're going to go over today is our 59 combo that we went over, I don't know, episode 5 or 6, right? So basically run go routes on the inside. This is great for man coverage or a cover 3, right? And they're running a cover 3 right now, which means these outside cornerbacks have to drop, and they start shallow, but they drop, and they have to make sure they don't get beat deep, right? If they don't get attacked deep, then they'll stay here short. So what we do is we run 9 routes on the inside, basically just to occupy the safety and clear them out here. And then we'll run our comebacks. And we showed you the other day, like this is a great route to run because once this DB turns his hips and starts sprinting downfield, because he feels like we're running a go route, we break down and come down to the outside and we catch the comeback.
Right.
Now, when we hit a comeback or 2 comebacks, what I'm reading as a coach is this DB starts to sit on this a little better because he doesn't want to get caught. And when that window gets a little tighter, even if the first one's tight, if the first one's tight and it's covered, then I'm going to the pump fake the next play.
Okay.
But let's just say I'll run it once or twice until we can't hit it anymore or it's close, and then we call 59 Jordan. And basically, in this case, this is our green receiver. I'll say 59 green Jordan. I'm telling the green guy that we're running a pump and go. And that lets the quarterback know that's who we're throwing it to. So the quarterback will roll out a little bit, and we're looking comeback. And as soon as this receiver takes 1, 2 steps down, he just takes off down the field, right? The quarterback's job is to pump the ball when he's coming down. And as soon as he pumps it, take off down the field, and then we're hitting a go ball down the sideline.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yep, and we're going to show you, we got this play on video right here. I'm going to show you how it works.
Okay, where does the center go? So you don't have that one written down.
Well, in this case right here, a lot of times the center is just kind of leaking and sitting in the middle of the field. I just check that based on where they're at. A lot of times if I'm going to the left side here, I'll have him do a Larry, which tells him to run up and stand to the left. And what I'm trying to do is isolate this backer to kind of drop and stay in that space, which keeps my window open over here. But he's on a check call at the line of scrimmage because when we line up in this, I don't know which side we're going to. And when I figure out that we're going to go to our purple or our green, then I'll let him know to go left or right to kind of isolate that play.
Okay.
Since this is a deep ball, really doesn't matter what he's doing. We're taking a shot down the field in this case. None of these defenders are going to be involved. The key is making sure we're running the safety off, and by giving him 2 go balls, he's isolated in the middle of the field. He can't leave, and then we're just taking advantage of the one-on-one matchup on the outside.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's go see it on the play.
All right.
All right, so here we go. We're going to run, I've got 2 of these plays we're going to show you. We're going to target the receiver at the top of the screen here. These guys are in what looks to be a 5-1, which is basically a cover 3. So this outside corner should be dropping into deep thirds, as well as this guy. This also could be a man coverage set. Works the same. We run this in man or cover 3, and we've got a safety back here that's covering the middle of the field. So I'm going to push play here and show you what we're looking at. All right, so watch the receiver at the top of the screen who's going to run a comeback. He's pushing him. He's got to push him to open his hips. Once he opens his hips, he breaks down. And that was quick there, but I want to stop it here. The safety knew that we were running these plays, right? So he had a good idea. So he has a beat on this play, and we still hit over the top. But I want to keep in mind showing you that the separation here on this play, I mean, there's 2.5 or 3 yards of separation, right? So this is a wide open throw. Right. Now, the quarterback come off the read, and what we could go to, they're actually in a man coverage right here. It looked like a cover 3, but we can come back and hit this guy in the middle field because there's no one out here. But we were going to this either way. So let me finish the play. And we hit it over the top. Let me go back. Let me slow it down a little bit. I wanted to show you the receiver just takes 1 or 2 steps up here at the top. Just turns his body, 1, 2, turns his body, and then takes off. It's enough to get this cornerback to turn his head. So in both of these plays, let's watch the cornerback one more time. The key is when the receiver starts breaking down, this cornerback takes his eyes off the receiver and he starts looking in the backfield because now he wants to find the ball, right? And we watch it right here. See the receiver breaks down? Look, where's his head at right now?
Yep.
Straight in the backfield. Mm-hmm. So he can't keep up with the receiver on this route very well, right? And this guy played this pretty well. Still 2 or 3 yards wide open. All right. I'm going to move us down to. All right, so now we're going to attack the receiver here at the bottom of the screen. We're going to have the receiver here and this DB. It's the same look, right? They are in, looks like a 5-1 with the safety. And I'm going to play this here. Watch the bottom of the screen. Receiver starts pushing upfield. DB breaks down. All right, so where's the DB's eyes? Back in the backfield, right? As soon as we break down, every single time without fail, an unbelievable cornerback will always keep his eyes on the wide receiver, but usually they look back at the quarterback here. Once he looks back, he loses him, and then we're down the sideline for a wide open touchdown. This ball was underthrown. It was inside. If it's out here back pylon, it's even a more open throw. But this is a great play here. We'll throw it one more time. Pushes it outside. He turns his hips, breaks down 1, 2, and gone. Watch this, Mike. I'm going to slow this down. I love watching this stuff because the receiver here does a great job of literally taking 2 steps. It's just a fluid motion. He takes off. He doesn't think about it. He's not looking at the cornerback. He's just worried about running his route. So he breaks down, 1, 2, plants, and he's out of there quick. If the receiver runs a comeback on this and he runs it too well, I guess why I'm enamored by that, right? He did it very quickly. If he runs it too well and he keeps coming down like you normally do, creates a lot of separation, then he actually hurts himself because then when he takes off the field, he gives the cornerback a chance to stay with him. Right. So it's imperative that he takes just 1 or 2 quick steps to sell it and basically just wants this DB to turn his eyes to the quarterback. That's what you're selling here. Right. Because then he loses the receiver on the break back upfield.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to ask about that because I'm like, oh, the guy's not really running as far back on that comeback. He's just kind of doing like a 1 step, 2 step, and how is he creating that separation? So that makes sense as far as how do you teach the quarterback to identify that the cornerback is looking at you and he's not looking at your receiver, so it's going to be open.
What's that?
So like this quarterback obviously knows that your receiver's coming back and he's watching the cornerback. If the cornerback is staring at him, he knows that go is going to be open, correct? Yeah. So, I guess that's how you teach him.
Well, we're taking the shot either way, right? So the quarterback's not taking off of this play. I mean, if for some reason it's absolutely covered, then we're taking a sack here. Right. If we feel like we've got a DB that might cover it well, we may not run 59. We may run a drag from the opposite slot across the field.
Right,
So
the
we'll
6.
still run one go route, but drag the other guy over as a safety valve. But we teach the quarterback, this is your read, this is the play we're going to. Right. And then the better the receiver learns to run it, it's just going to be an open play over and over and over again.
Gotcha.
Right. And our quarterback knows that. He's just like, be patient. It's going to happen. It's going to come open. But the key for the wide receiver is not to run a full comeback, because early on they would do that, right? And he would create so much separation that actually the comeback would be open.
Right.
And then all of a sudden when he turns upfield, the cornerback can pick him up still because he's still got 3 or 4 yards of space. So it's a 1-2, and that 1-2 is enough for a cornerback to turn his head. And that's because we've ran the comeback in this game probably 2 or 3 times already.
Right.
So these corners are keying on that comeback now.
Right.
And now we hit them with a comeback and go. So it's another great play to add on top. And a lot of what we do is we run specific plays, but then we have pump fakes that once we run them enough, then we bait the defense down on it, and then we hit the go ball.
Okay. Oh, thanks. I forgot about that. Much better. Okay, great. You know what? I got to tell you, I've implemented some of these things through the course of the past 8 episodes, and all of a sudden, we can move the ball down a lot more effortlessly. We're still making some mistakes. Our quarterback's still working through some of those things, but you know, I have some great footage of some of the comebacks. And you know, even though you showed me like, well, it's not perfect, here's what you're doing wrong, we can always bring that back up and show it on a following episode. We're successfully moving the ball, you know. Whereas before, with a team that's kind of mixed as far as kids that are new to the game, or with some kids that have been playing for a longer time, you know, not as much athleticism all the way around, we might go 3 and out, right? You'd have a lot of drop balls, but you know, when you start to piece it together as like who you can utilize on those comeback routes, and how much, like, you can take a chunk of yardage up on something like that, and convincing the person, the cornerback, that they got to sit tight. I'm looking forward to trying this. It's kind of what I'm saying. So I think this would be really, really good, you know. So
it's a great play, and all this stuff is just built. You start with it, right, and it works a little bit and works here and there, but then it works a lot, right? And you start to figure it out. So like you said, you're seeing improvements in a lot of the offensive stuff you're adding in 5-6 weeks in,
right?
But I mean, next season it comes on, it's going to be even better, and then all of a sudden you've got a good foundational thing to move offensively, to move the ball up and down the field,
right? And
the kids get comfortable with it too. So this play we've run this season specifically is a play that we've run a lot of. I mean, we've ran it in the past, but we've used it a lot more this season, and it's just been gold for us for throwing touchdowns.
Right. Okay, perfect, man. Do you have anything else to add for today?
Like and subscribe. We're giving you good content. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to bring it to, hopefully it's adding value to your coaching, obviously the parents and everything else. We love doing this stuff. So,
and we got about 3 or 4 weeks off before our next season starts. When is the girls season starting? Soon, right?
Girls and boys start on April 10th. Yeah,
same time.
No weeks off for podcasts. We'll be back every week. But
absolutely.
Yes, the flag football season's over for the next 4 weeks.
Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna have, when we get into that season, we're gonna have new point of view videos.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have in the huddle point of views on videos and what we're watching, and we'll have sideline stuff too. We're gonna show you in the huddle what we're looking at, which is gonna be pretty cool.
Right. All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for your time, Coach.
Thanks, Coach Mike.
Thanks for everything you're doing, and see you guys next time.